actually say to Thomas, no, I won't do it. But I did say, what's the point of having me? Because I'm not famous at all. I just thought, wow, everybody's going to be here to see famous sports people and men and learn from them. But Thomas is a very good salesman, very good, and a very genuine person. And I learned that last night. And what I really loved about him was his passion and his enthusiasm for what he's doing and his desire to give back to the community. So you've all chosen to come here today, and the next choice you're going to make is how much you get involved and how much you join in and how willingly. Like these two walking in now, they're going to walk all the way down and sit at a table with other people, aren't you? Go like this. No, don't sit there. No, keep going. And again, I'm not a despot. It's just that COVID has taught us how critical it is that humans connect. And yet we come to events like this and we go, no, I'm going to sit at this table and I don't know anyone else. And no, I'm not moving. She's a bitch. And no, I don't want to do that. Well, you're here. And the way we're going to get through COVID to the other side is if we recognize almost everyone has forgotten that we are in the business and in living of H to H. What do you think? Not B to B, not B to C, not B to anything else. What do you think H to H stands for? Human to human. And my mentor, David Martin, was talking on a thingy that he was doing. Oh, by the way, hello, all you people out there in virtual land. I'm not sure where the camera is, but hello, I'm not ignoring you. Just be grateful you're not here having to swap seats. But my mentor, David Martin, was talking about humanity is not a noun. It's not like humanity is here like a large lump. Humanity is the way we treat each other. So as we go through my little session of the day, I'm going to be asking you to treat the people on either side of you and at your table with a great deal of humanity and consideration of them, not just you. And we're going to talk a lot about F words today. And I've asked the people with children here, are they all right if I say F words? I'm not going to be saying another F word, but we are going to cover a lot of F words today. And the first one is faux what. And do you know what faux what stands for? Fear of what others think. And I hate to burst your bubble, but honestly, no one else is ever thinking about you, ever, ever. Look at some of your faces. What? In this day of social media, where everything's about comparison, and it appears to be part of the human condition, comparison, everybody's desperately worried about what other people are thinking about them, but nobody's ever thinking about you because they're so desperately worried about themselves. They haven't got time to think about you. Look, this is a new concept. Do you understand this is true? Seriously. People, let's say you're at work and your boss comes out of the office and the boss happens to be a bloke on this day and the bloke looks like thunder and stomps off across the room like this. Now, do you think everybody else at work who's seen that is sitting there going, oh, gee, poor boss. Wonder what's happened to them. Hope they're okay. They look a bit stressed. No. Everybody's sitting there going, oh, geez, did you see the boss? Did you see the boss? Do you reckon they found out what we did last week? They're not, oh, we know what happened there. Throw yourselves into this, guys. Nobody else is going to be judging you. And if they are, they can slap themselves. Because that is not the secret to humanity and heart to heart and human to human. So just to give me a feel for the group, how many of you wake up every morning full of energy and vitality? Awesome. A 10-year-old and about 3 adults. Excellent. How many of you go home or finish the workday, if you're at home, full of energy and vitality? That's the same 10-year-old and about 3 adults. How many just want to remember what it was like to have energy and vitality? Here you go. Well, that's what I'm here for, but it's not going to be as trite and trivial as I used to do because things are much deeper these days. as to what causes our human condition. So what I'd like to do, I know you can't see this very clearly, but I'll walk you through it. I want to go through 4 sciences: neuroscience, epigenetics, emotional intelligence, and quantum physics. I know that sounds very technical, but I will make it simple, I promise. In the middle is this sweet spot. And this sweet spot is what I call the joy spot. Not that one. Whenever a room goes very quiet, I don't know where their minds have gone. And you guys can make a choice. You can make a choice to be a walking joy spot or not. Like, have you ever done this? You wake up in the morning, you've got some energy back in the day when you had energy, and you walk out and you encounter someone else. And at the end of 5 minutes with this person, you walk away going, oh, geez, I feel crook. You ever done that? That's because there are literally energy suckers out there. Haven't you ever come across them? You know, you walk out and there are people who, and they go, oh, there's some energy. Okay. And they leave this trail of hulks behind them. And it will take one energy sucker in this room to suck the group energy down. And, you know, energy suckers generally are people who don't feel good about themselves, who are insecure, who are terrified of of what everybody is going to think about them. And by the way, what do you think the real F word is in life? The real F word. It's fear. And we are living in a complete field of fear. The atmosphere we live in. Do you know human bodies are in fact giant bioelectric currents? There's a very scientific base. I won't make it too heavy duty, but genuinely, we are bioelectric currents. Do you remember at school, some of you still at school, you learned that what is generated around an electric current? Hint. Hint. A magnetic field, yes. A magnetic field is generated around every electric current. Well, every organ in your body generates an electric current, and the heart beats an electric current 60 times more powerful than any other organ in your body. This is all research from a place called the Institute of Heart Math, hardcore science engineers. And we know that the heart current generates a magnetic field that goes 6 feet out from your body. 2 meters for those of you who are like young, but 6 feet out. And we know that every single person who is within your field, your heart field, their brain waves are affected by your heart. If you have an angry, hostile heart, you completely mess up someone else's brain waves. So look at your tables, look at the person either side of you, look at them, look now, look either side and across the table at the other people. You better make sure that you're not sitting there being cynical and pessimistic in an energy sucker, because there are 7 or 8 other people at your table being affected. And if we see anybody get up and move, we'll know what's going on. So seriously, and here's the other piece that affects you on a day-to-day basis. You know, if you're in a man-woman relationship, you know what happens often if you have a fight before you go to bed. And men have this phenomenal capacity to go to bed after a big fight and go instantly to sleep. And they just stay asleep. Women, on the other hand, do not. We hang on to the anger. And by the way, number one predictor of heart attack, number one predictor is not stress, cholesterol, obesity, smoking, lack of exercise. It is, excuse me, it's someone who has an angry, hostile heart. So ladies, we're not doing ourselves any benefit carrying on. But anyway, this is what we do. We stomp around the house, we sigh, we make, oh, I can't believe it. And eventually we go to bed. But we do not go to sleep. We lie there tossing, turning, making loud sighing noises and anything else we can think of to wake him up. But he is not stupid. Nothing is going to wake him up, even if he's not asleep. However, ladies, we can relax, resting assured that our angry heart, which we are decimating ourselves, is making sure that he is having a very disturbed night's sleep because his brainwaves are affected. Oh, sorry. His brainwaves are affected. So literally, we affect people within that 6-foot area, right? The 2-meter area. Remembering all of that, remembering that there is no forward. No one else is thinking about you. So you are about to consciously choose how to engage in this whole event. And I'll just share with you one other. So this is one of the most important things. And then the second core concept I want to go through. Some of you will have heard of the bell curve, some of you won't. So the bell curve is shaped like this, and it's split roughly into 3, and it applies to any group of people, anywhere, anytime. So more than 3 people, you've got a bell curve. So all of you will fit into this bell curve somewhere. Be really honest with yourself, and you work out where you fit in, because where you choose to fit in determines how your life will turn out. And so normally this is used, people split it into, you know, people who are successful, people who do well, and then these are the average people, and then these are the people who suck. Now, all of you, remember, will fit into this curve somewhere. The fact that you're all in here today, that you've made the effort to get here, means that you are actually in the success category. However, you're kind of in a little subset bell curve. So the successful people are really successful. The ones in the middle average, they're really above general average. And the ones who suck, they just don't suck as much as the general. So as I go through it, we still fit into this curve, and choose where you want to be. This is an awareness exercise to work out where you are, and then we can choose where we want to be. So the people in the successful end, I decided just the other day I would add another F word to this, and it is F-U-S. What do you think it is? Oh, I don't know what you thought it was. Oh, no, it hasn't got enough letters. Focus, yeah. It's what I also think this is the focus curve. What do you choose to focus on? And in this day and age, when everybody is filled with uncertainty, I mean, how many of you lost your job because of COVID? Oh, not many. Well, I did. When you're a speaker who used to travel to America 3 months of the year and who used to travel at least twice a week, going to different events and organizations that had huge conferences, COVID happened, and all of a sudden, nothing. And I've been speaking for 35 years. Do you know what COVID's helped me realize? First of all, I am not giving in to what? I am extremely well educated in this area, and I'm not giving in to fear. Secondly, I realized I didn't have a life. And I don't know if that's happened to any of you, but I used my work to escape living. And seriously, like, I'm not joking. I've been talking about joy for the last, 15 years. And I wrote a book on joy. And it took COVID. Well, that's not true. Really, in the last 6 years, since I've been working with David Martin, I've realized that I was a total fraud. Now, I knew I wasn't joyful, but as Lao Tzu said, we teach best what we most need to learn. So I'm traveling the world, and I'm talking to literally like 100,000, 200,000 people a year about joy. And was I joyful? Well, I thought I was. Was I being authentic? I thought I was. But it wasn't until COVID came and I realized I actually didn't, and here is the other enormously important F word, feel. I closed my feelings down a very, very long time ago and I'm 67, have only just started to get to the point. Stop. That's a terrible thing to do. Thank you, but that makes you feel like, oh my God, I made it. I'm a geriatric. It's kind of a bad thing, to get to 67 and then feel for the first time, like really feel. But thank you for that. At least I did it, hey? So if I was down this end, I'd be going, I wasted 67 years of my life and it sucked. But if I choose to be this end, I go, well, it did take me a little bit of time, but I had a lot of good experiences on the way that I can use to teach people how not to do things. Seriously, it's a choice we make. What do you choose to focus on? Are you going to focus on the fear? And the bottom, by the way, down this end where people suck, the truth is they don't actually suck. They're S-U-C-K. What is it? Stuck. And the T is the difference that makes the difference between these three. And it stands for your T-K-I-N-G. What is it? Your thinking. Some of you aren't that good at hangman, are you? I'm shocking at it, but anyway. Or you're just lazy. It's thinking. It's our thinking. Now, who is in charge of your thinking? We are. And it's not the media. I'm not sure what you said, but do we have any media sponsors? Thomas? Do we have any media sponsors? No? Not any of the channels or anything? Before I say, stop watching the news. Stop watching the media. Just stop it. You are bathing yourself in what? Fear. Now, you can educate yourself, but stop bathing yourself in fear. It's separating humans. Babies die if you don't touch them. Humans die if they're socially isolated. I'm not exaggerating. We die. You have got to stay connected to other people, like NDS. What's that? I think. Friends, yes. I found I didn't have any where I lived. My friends are all over the world, seriously, and interstate, which is very inconvenient. So I've had to find new ways to make friends where I live, because I never lived where I lived before. And then here's the other part that's absolutely critical. I-L-Y, what is it? Family. If we don't reconnect, and you know, these people, my family sucks. They're all assholes. You're not going to do it. Stop it. If that's true, which it probably isn't, then at least connect with a new family. Make your own family. My own biological family is pretty dysfunctional, but I have family in America, in Dallas. I have them in Charlottesville. I have them in Sydney. I got family all over the place, New Zealand. So here is your opportunity, team. You can choose to be in this enthusiastic, take responsibility for themselves, be self-aware group, this group up here that chooses to focus on the monotonous goodness of life. And let me explain that, because David, my mentor, had explained this the other day. You woke up this morning. You had clothes to put on. You could walk, actually. You could get up out of bed, have a pee, your bladder worked. You could come away and have breakfast. You could eat, your digestive system worked. And yes, you're in Sydney. You might have had traffic up the wazoo. Oh, well, never mind. And other people had to get up really early. But we can do it. We did it. And we live in Australia. If nothing else works for you, be grateful for that. We are constantly surrounded by monotonous goodness. Do you ever stop and think about your breathing? You're sitting here now. You are absolutely encased in monotonous goodness. You're breathing, your lungs are working, your kidneys are working, everything's working. But do we ever focus on that? No, not till it stops. And then we go, oh, that sucks. Spent 45 or 60 years ignoring everything that was great going on, and then something goes wrong, and now you start to take care of it. What do you choose to focus on? So you're going to love this. On the count of three, I want you to turn to the person on one side of you. Wait till I count to three. Excuse me. And if you're at the end of the table, your other person is the other end of the table. You know what I mean? So you're going to look one side and then look the other. You're going to look deeply into the human's eyes, even if it's bloke to bloke. See, these people are sitting here going, awesome, this sounds like it's going to be a bit of fun. I wonder where she's going with this. These people in the average section, these people fully live. These people embrace every moment of life. These people are existing. You know, come along, somebody said I could, it's free, I had to write a sentence, say, yeah, I'm here. And these people, in terms of this exercise, will be going, do we have to? Yes. if you're going to participate, and this whole thing is about participation in life and reconnecting with life, and the people down there tend to go, nah, not doing it. And you know the worst type? The worst type are the ones who sit there going, I don't look like I'm doing it, but I'm not. You know those people at work? The ones who look like they're working, but they're not, and they're sucking the life force out of everyone else. So on the count of 3, keep breathing as we do this. Oh, let's add something else to it. Do you want to up it a notch? And these people go, yes, do something else. Oh, no. I don't care what it is, just no. So on the count of 3, oh, by the way, do you know what the most important thing in life is? The single most important thing in life, without exception. I'll help you. How you feel about, see, look, there's about 10 people saying out loud. I'm pointing, encouraging you. There's about 10 people going, feel. These going. And these are, I'm not saying it on purpose. I'm not going to let it tell me what to do. Do you want to live like that? Do you really want to live focusing on how you can be difficult, how you can be defensive, how you can point out to the world that you're different? You know what it comes from? Oh, nice work. Nice work, one of you. It's how you feel about yourself. See, these people may not feel fabulous about themselves, but they're willing to give it a go. They're willing to take a risk and learn and grow and develop. These people, it's hard. I kind of feel okay, but I really don't have much confidence. And sometimes I can do it. Oh, no, maybe not. Oh, if I'm surrounded by safe people, I could. And these people feel dreadful about themselves. They are so defensive. They make excuses. They blame. They judge. They will do anything to defend themselves. And they will never look inside and always look outside to blame others. Ring a bell? So here is your chance. On the count of 3, you are going to help the person on either side of you. Get off your phones if you're on them, unless you're taking notes about this session. You're going to help the person on either side of you feel good about themselves. This is not about you. This is about you serving someone else, which is the whole purpose of the Wiseberry Foundation. And a beautiful philosophy. You can feel good about yourself as you do it because you are helping someone else. And there are 2 things I'd like you to do. As you look at the person, actually 3 things. As you look at the person, you've got to make eye contact. Don't go like this. Because that just, you're basically screaming out, I feel like shit about myself, so I'm not going to look at you. I don't want someone else looking into my eyes. And so, quickly, you're going to turn to the person on one side, look deeply into their eyes and say, you are amazing. Oh, look, air sucked out of the room. These people, awesome, this sounds like fun, yay, what? No. And the third thing I would love you to do is to go inside. When somebody else looks at you and says, you are amazing, do you hear a little voice inside that says, no, you're not, you suck? Because if you do, there's work to be done. And you know, I normally I would say, I'll give you a choice. Do you want to say you're amazing? Or do you want to say you are an astonishing being of light? How many for you're amazing? Oh, guess what wins? What's the matter with astonishing being of light? How many want astonishing being of light? Oh, score, a few of you. And do you know, the truth is you are an astonishing being of light because the moment you were conceived, the moment the sperm hit the egg, there is a flash of light. It's called a zinc flash. Truly, there's a flash of light. And most people think it's light going out. It's not. It's light coming in. And that's you. That's your essence. That's who you really are. You are an astonishing being of light. And truly, you are amazing. Now, many of us don't behave in amazing ways. And many of us don't believe we're amazing. And in a minute, because we haven't got much longer to go, I'll share with you the 3 core fears that stop us feeling good about ourselves. But please, 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 when you do this exercise, will you just do it wholeheartedly? Will you do it with an open heart? And for the rest of the day, do the same thing. Be open to what is being presented to you without judging it. Be open to it and see if it's something that will help you grow and develop and feel better about yourself and overcome one of the 3 core fear stories, excuse me, that have been driving your life. So quickly, on the count of 3, you're going to look at the person one side, then the other, make big eye contact and say, you are amazing. 1, 2, 3, go. Looking. You are amazing. Nice work, team. Nice. So quick, come on back, come on back. High five them. High five that person. Both sides. 2, twice. Nice. Oh, what a good group. A Yahoo! Nice. Okay, come on back. All day, keep doing this. All day, keep encouraging each other. Because if the single most important thing in life is how you feel about yourself, what do you think the number 1 thing people want in life is? Acknowledgement and recognition. Yes, they want to feel important. And this person on either side of you, from this day forwards forever, I want you to exchange phone numbers with them because they will be, I don't know what you're thinking over there. They will be, and you there in what do we call it? Hybrid land, in Zoom land, find somebody that you can do this with. Even if you do it with yourself. When I said turn to the person next to you and say, you are amazing, quick, run to the mirror or look at yourself in the Zoom image and look at yourself and say, you're amazing. Because if we can't do it, and you know, bottom line, full disclosure, I am practicing saying that in the mirror because I struggle with it. I know it intellectually, but to actually feel it. Now, I may be acres behind you guys because you've been able to feel forever, but it's still a new thing for me. And seriously, I'm pretty confident in most situations. But when it comes to love, not so good because of my childhood. And I spent forever talking about, I've always worked on myself. Since I was 21, I've tried to be a better version of myself, the best I could be, someone who grew and developed myself. I always took responsibility for myself, way too much as it turns out. And I always put down the stuff about inner child, you know, like, oh, not the inner child stuff again. Oh, there's everything connected to this. Like, oh, well, after about 40 years of resisting it, I discovered through a very painful experience recently, so 6 years I've been working on myself, but just in the last 6 weeks, unbelievably painful experience that brought it all home. And yes, most of it is about the inner child. Because, so by the way, the person you're sitting next to either side is from this day forwards your official joy buddy. Now, come on back. See, the people up this end, the ones who are successful and focus on monotonous goodness, these people are going, awesome! I've always wanted a joy buddy. That's a great idea. These people go, ah, ha, 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 that's funny. These people, I knew I should have sat somewhere else. Now, a joy buddy might sound like a bit of fun, but truthfully, a joy buddy is a resilience buddy. It's an accountability buddy. Because if you don't make a conscious choice to work on your life and on yourself, life will happen to you. So if you're someone who really is serious about being the best version you can be and fully living your life, use your joy buddies. Connect with your joy buddies who become your new friends or already existing friends and your new family. And talk to them each month, 2 of them, talk to them about what's going on in your life, how you're feeling, where you would like to go to, how you want to deal with particular things that are happening in your life. Because when do we ever do this on an ongoing basis? 35 years ago, I started off speaking about wellness. And you know, the Chinese have a philosophy. You go to the doctor to stay well. If you get sick, you change doctors. Seriously. And that's the way it should be. But no, not us. We're so sophisticated and advanced. We wait till we're half dead. And then we go to the doctor. And then we can't get better half the time. So this is about working on your joy levels, because joy stands for just one you. And you are amazing. And when you discover your essence and you hone your overlaying layers to your essence and you clear out the fears, everything changes. And so, but years and years ago, you've all heard of nonverbal communication, haven't you? Yeah? Go like this, yes? So nonverbal communication is 80 to 93% of everything we communicate. Your words are minimal. They mean almost nothing. But the way, everything that goes with the words, the voices, voice tones, vocal variety, micro color changes in our faces, our breathing, all of that conveys most of the message. And the way, and most people go to me, oh yeah, I know about body language. Body language is an itty bitty little piece of it. This does not mean people are closed off to you. This is a postural habit. People don't even know they're doing it. Everybody, quick, cross your arms, because we haven't got much time. That's what we've got, quick. Now look at which hand is on top. Joy buddies, look at your joy buddy and see which hand is on top for them. Now I want you to exactly reverse them. Exactly reverse them. Okay, stop. We haven't got time for you to work it out. Now, when you did it, nobody had to think about it. This was just, okay, I cross my arms. Now, nobody taught you to cross your arms. It was something you spontaneously did at about 3 after you'd seen your parents do it 9 million times. And you went, no. And then someone says, oh, reverse it. And you go, oh, all right, then. Oh, hold on. I only did. And then you go like this because you feel stupid. Now, most people who just completely reverse it don't actually reverse it. If we had time, I would have gotten you to check each other, because most people just do the same thing and think they've reversed it. But when you did reverse it, if you did, how did it feel? Bizarre. But there's no reason. It's not like you have a dislocated shoulder on one side that stops you crossing your arms the other way. It's what? Habit. It's just a habit. And so when we do something that's different, you know it's going to feel uncomfortable. So the way I talk about nonverbal communication is that we all walk around with invisible fish bowls on our heads. And in these fish bowls are sparkly bits. This, along with the most important thing in life, is how you feel about yourself, is probably the second most important thing in life anybody's ever going to share with you. So in these fish bowls are sparkly bits. And my sparkly bits and your sparkly bits talk to each other all the time. And if what's coming out of my mouth doesn't match what's coming out of my sparkly bits, what do you pick up? Sparkly bits, always, always, always. And because humans remember with symbols, I'm just going to put these on, because these are the single most important thing anyone will ever teach you about communication. These, we've got children, these come into play every nanosecond of every day that you are awake. This is the energy that you are emanating. If you want to emanate your essence, which is always a beautiful thing, then we have to be conscious. We have to wake up, because 95 to 99% of the time, 95 to 99% of the time, we are literally unconscious of the stories we're telling ourselves. Your thinking is the story you are telling yourself. And it's going on and on and on and on and on and on in your head. and it's pumping out through your sparkly bits. Haven't you ever met anybody, I don't know, party, business thing, anywhere here, and they're talking, and you think to yourself, they seemed really nice, but I don't know, something wasn't quite right. You ever met anybody like that? That's because what came out of here didn't match this. This will always override this. So think of your least favorite person. Your least favorite person is walking towards you. Be honest. Are you looking at them and in your head, you're telling yourself a story? Fabulous. Here's an opportunity to practice forgiveness, love, kindness, and compassion. No, that's not what you're doing. What you're in fact doing is looking at them going, no, not today, not today. Oh, can't cope with it. But your mouth goes, hi. Guess what they pick up? And when you look at someone else and you're going, in your head, the story is, I hate you. And your mouth goes, oh, you're my best friend. What do they pick up? You walk in the door at night, if you still have a job that you go to, or you walk out of the office where you're working, and you sense something's wrong. And you say, what's wrong? And someone says, nothing. And you know a lot is wrong. Sparkly bits are critical. When you don't feel good about yourself, it shines out of you. When you feel good about yourself, that shines out of you. And it influences everyone in your field, in your quantum field. Now, should you be someone who is willing to take responsibility and focus on different things, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to become a walking joy spot. So on the count of 3, joy buddies, you can breathe. And then I'm going to look at the joy buddy on one side and then the other. And I want you to look into their eyes and say, I am a walking joy spot. I am a walking joy spot. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Fast. I am a walking joy spot. Nice. You guys are awesome. Quick. Come on back. And anybody who didn't do it, if you came in a bit later, start getting involved. Otherwise, I'm going to pick on you. So you can be a walking joy spot. The other thing that comes out of the joy spot there is everybody today wants to be a CJF. And a C something, CEO, CIO, CTO, C something. As of today, thanks to the Wiseberry Foundation, you can all walk away and write CJF on your business cards or your paper or your emails or whatever you like. And you know what that stands for? Chief Joy Facilitator. It's a choice, isn't it? But who wakes up in the morning and goes, I just want to make people's lives suck today. I want to spread misery and pain. These are people who are deeply damaged if they do. But very few people do that consciously. And at the same time, very few people wake up consciously and go, I want to be a joy facilitator today. And that isn't just for everyone else. That's for you as well. How can I facilitate my joy today and emanate in my field through my sparkly bits, that joy to others and bring them some joy in a very difficult time? Now, let's go to epigenetics for a minute. Epigenetics, there is an awesome book called The Biology of Belief. If you're not into books, then go to YouTube. And there is a YouTube doco called The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton, Lipton, like in teabag. And it is brilliant. Do you know your genes will not determine your future? Although spike proteins are having a play with that, but no more on that. So your genes do not determine your future. You know what determines your future? Your BFS. What is it? Your beliefs. Now, think about it. We know your beliefs determine your future. We know with the latest science on stress, it's not stress that makes you sick. It's what you believe about stress that will make you sick or not. It's what you tell yourself about stress. It's the story you're telling yourself. It's what you're thinking. All thinking becomes a story. And I'm about to share with you the 3 core fears that underpin almost everyone these days. Almost everyone. And these fears are embedded between 0 to 7. And it's really important as I'm going through these fears that you are honest with yourself and you look at which one or ones you may have. I got the trifecta. I didn't know I had the trifecta until I was doing some more work on myself. And I suppose I've been talking about this for 6, 7, 8 years now. So the 3 core fears in life. The first one is I am not worth loving. I know I didn't spell it well. I haven't got time. Okay, that says I'm not worth loving. And the second part of number 1 is I am not good enough. Now, it's interesting. A lot of men get the second one. A lot of women get this one. I took it to the nth degree where I told myself, and this happens between 0 to 7. 0 to 7. If you have a 0 to 7-year-old, you've got a chance of making sure these aren't embedded. If they're over 0 to 7, then talk about them out loud with your children, because these stories are not who you are, but they will run your life. And I am living proof of that, and so is everyone else. I told myself I was worthless when I was 2. I was growing up in India. I had an alcoholic father. I didn't even know my mother had left us for a year when I was 2. During that time, I was molested by some person, and I knew nothing. I remembered nothing about my childhood, nothing. And I told myself I had a great childhood. It was awesome. I knew I was the favourite child. How many of you know you were the favourite child? See, we know, parents. How many knew you were not the favourite child? See, parents, we all know. And that's the story we tell ourselves. But I had to dig deep because I had a dysfunctional pattern in my life. I was very successful at work. I made a truckload. I've won awards, all that sort of stuff with my speaking, with my physio, blah, blah, blah. But I was miserable. And I sucked at relationships. And I couldn't understand why. Because deep inside, my sparkly bits were telling people I was worthless. You couldn't love me. How could you possibly? I didn't even know who I was. I'm still on the journey to learning that. I had created a very, very potent persona, and I was genuinely authentic to my persona. But I wasn't happy. I didn't feel joy inside. And when I started to look more deeply, this was at the root of it. So joy buddies, on the count of 3, really fast, I want you to turn to your joy buddy. If it's a girl joy buddy, you are going to look in their eyes and say, you are so worth loving. And if it's a boy joy buddy, you're going to say, you are so good enough. And put feeling into it. Remember, forget about so what. This may be the very first time in your joy buddy's life that they have ever heard these words. We tell ourselves these stories. We as little people tell ourselves these stories. It's not true. They are stories. You are actually absolutely worth loving, and you are absolutely good enough, which doesn't mean that we can't be more and develop more, but you are absolutely good enough and absolutely worth loving. So quick, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go. You are so worth loving. You are so good enough. Come on back, come on back. And if anybody wasn't sincere, if anybody was a bit worried about faux what and looking stupid, guess what would have happened? It wouldn't have worked. So that's the first core fear. You would be astonished. I'm astonished. And I don't think I've met anybody that doesn't have one of these. How scary is that? And you know what, parents? If you're sitting there going, oh, geez, I probably screwed up. Nah, maybe, maybe not. You've always done the best you could, what you thought was best for the child. It doesn't have to be you. It can be something completely innocent that the child tells themselves a story about. Do you get that? So I'm there. I'm 2. What do I know? My dad's an alcoholic. I don't know that, but obviously he wasn't very reliable because he did drink metho. I'm left there with an Indian nanny that I don't remember, except she used to thump me, and something's happening. At the moment, excuse me, something was happening. I tell myself, no one else tells me, I, as a toddler, now, as toddlers between 0 to 7, do we have the capacity to see everything that's going on? Do we understand everything that's going on? No, of course we don't. We've got our own itty-bitty little view of the world, and it's always all about us. So I tell myself I'm worthless, because if I was worth something, I would actually not be in this position. I would not have to look after myself. I also then told myself I am responsible for me. Obviously, no one else is ever going to be here for me. So I then took on responsibility for myself for everything. And guess what I did? I expanded it into I was responsible for my mother's happiness, because obviously that's why she left, because she wasn't happy with me and I made her unhappy. See, toddler thinking. This is the next story I tell myself. Then I take that story and I expand it. And I go into now I am responsible for everyone. Then I added narcissism to it. That was easy to hear, where I decided I could fix everyone. And guess how the universe works? I built an extraordinarily successful speaking career, because what do you get to do from the stage? Fix people. Yay! Not. But give them strategies and stuff. So fortunately, I managed to make that functional. But others in my family didn't. They took the same fears, but they didn't get a positive result out of it as much. However, when I had to actually start looking at where I was, the impact of my work has changed so much. I was already, I don't want, it's not bragging. You know how in Australia you're not allowed to say it was a successful business, because people are like, whatever that thing is where you cut legs out, that thing. What's it called? Tall poppy, that's it. Because we, and it's such a bad cultural habit that we have here. However, it was a really successful career. However, the impact of the career, what I'm emanating as I become more authentic, truly authentic to who I am. I didn't even know I wasn't being authentic. But as I become more authentic, somewhere the messages land differently. As I become more vulnerable, I always thought I was vulnerable, but apparently not, from the feedback that I get. So sometimes we don't even know what happens, but things change when we address what's going on inside. And I can't tell you that I'm yet, particularly in the last 6 weeks, in the place where I could say, gosh, I'm so worth loving. I'm closer, but it had a big hit. It obviously needed another test in the last 6 weeks. So this is an ongoing process. But the difference is I'm not as unconscious as I was. I'm more aware. Because if you really want to make changes in your lives, if you're really genuine about wanting to make a change and help others, become, and this is absolutely critical. I know it's all messy, but it doesn't matter. Become, and where will I write it? Over here. An O-V-E-R, what is it? O-B, an observer. Become an observer of your thoughts. Because if you start to observe your thoughts, they are no longer what? Unconscious. When you become conscious of the story you're telling yourself, then you can say, is that true? You can work out, what story am I telling myself? You can work out, when did I start this story? What were the circumstances? You can work out who benefits from me telling myself that story, and it's never you. And then you can work out, what could I tell myself instead? And before we go through the next 2 core fears, I want to just plant the seed, the gift that David gave me about 3 weeks ago. He has been telling me for 6 years, slow the F down. Because I'm so busy moving, being busy, thinking, I never stopped long enough to slow down to the speed of consciousness, which is what he says now, and feel and be present. Any of you in this room, if you're sitting there looking at a phone or doing something else, you're actually not present. Now, I am not a good teacher of how to be present, because I made not being present an art form. And I'm a little better at it now, but I don't feel qualified to teach people how to be present. Although just yesterday, I had an experience that I thought I could share with you. I was in the shower and you don't have to imagine that, but I was in the shower and I realized I was listening to a program on YouTube. I was thinking about cleaning the walls of the shower and about 14 other things. I was so not present to the shower. And do you know, I used it as an exercise this morning, just a simple little thing to start with, to get in the shower and do nothing but focus on the shower. Like feel the water running down my face, feel the water at my feet. Just be present. And you have no idea, my brain was like a trapped animal. It was like, whoa, what about the ground? Going, no. And I said, whoa, what about the no? I spent, like half the time leaping around trying to stop thoughts that weren't present to the shower in my head. Now, these people are sitting here going, she's an entire space cadet. What'd they get her for? But I'm supposed to have it all together in theory because I'm up here speaking, but it's way better you learn how so many people and every single one of the superstars that will be speaking to you today will have gone on their own challenging journey and battled all sorts of things like this to be the extraordinary people they are today, to have made the contribution they've made. And every single one of you is capable of it. And no, you may not be a fabulous rugby league player or boxer, but you could maybe if you wanted to. If you want to practice hard enough. One thing my mother did give me was the belief that if I wanted to do something, I could. If I put enough effort and work into it. I have worked extraordinarily hard and diligently to be the best possible speaker I could be. I make it look simple, easy, spontaneous, all that sort of stuff. 35 years of study's gone into it. Every single other speaker you will see today has done extraordinary amounts of work to get there. And the choice that we make is whether we're willing to do that work or not. So here is the question that David asked me, or together we're writing an online program, although it's very slow at the moment, because the energy that I would be putting into it is probably not the best energy that could be there. It's a few more weeks. However, instead of giving people like a 12-step process, which many online courses do, he said, we want to give people a compass. And they can use this compass to navigate their way through life. And as I was going through it, I realized the question for True North, how to work out if you're on track for your life. And remember, humanity is how we treat each other. Humanity is how we treat each other. It isn't about defending yourself, defending your position. It's how we treat each other, how much love we give each other. So here's the question. You may want to write it down. Am I being the person I want to be in this moment? Am I being the person I want to be in this moment? Am I being the person I want to be in this moment? We don't want to be in this moment. We don't have much time, guys. I was going to get you to do this now, but maybe as Joy Buddies in one of the breaks, or in that break before the next speaker, you talk to your Joy Buddies about what sort of person do you want to be in every moment? Because when I first heard that question, I had to stop and think about it. And I'll share with you what I came up with that held me in good stead in this recent, most traumatic breakup. The love of my life at 67, I didn't think that was going to be possible, but the love of my life decided he loved someone else who simultaneously. And so it's been a really interesting journey into how I deluded myself and deceived myself and how I let these fears control my behavior. However, I have come out of it not bitter and twisted and angry because the person I chose to be in every moment of that relationship, I'm okay with. And that is kind, loving, generous, grateful, honoring myself and honoring him. And that's the way, where I felt that was honoring myself. But I did all the others. I did really well on the others. But if you want to use that list, then use that list. So every person you interact with, if you want to be the person that you want to be in that moment, is it kind, loving, generous, grateful, honoring yourself and honoring the other person? And if you use that as your benchmark every day, watch how the world changes. Because the last two core fears are, I am unsafe in some way. And the last is S-A-R-A-N. What do you think it is? S-E-P. All right, let's say separation. We haven't got time. So separation. And what is COVID doing? It's reinforcing every single aspect of this, and it's reinforcing every single aspect of that, and it drives me nuts because it's destroying human hearts. It's destroying our essence. Your essence is to be connected, to be fear-free, to be flexible. Another F word, I haven't got time to write it down. And I want to share with you the last part that is kind of an antidote to all of those things. But we have to feel first. And we don't have to, but you can choose to become the observer of your thinking. Who is capable of changing these stories? You are. We told ourselves these stories. We are in charge of our thinking. As long as you don't buy into all the media that's around you and the crap that's around you, you are, and even if you do, you're still in charge of your thinking, aren't you? You can still choose to believe that or to think that there's an alternative and go and look at other stuff. It's always you deciding. Decide to become an observer. Now, this is the strategy that will change everything. It is the master reframer of life and the gift with which I would like to leave you apart from this. To ask yourself every moment, am I being the person? Do you want to be someone who's crabby? Do you wake up in the morning going, how can I destroy my child's life today? No, no one does that. Do you wake up going, I'd just like to suck today? I just want to be awful. I want to drag others down. No, just wake up in a coma and do it. So quick, joy buddies, on the count of three. Turn to your joy buddy, one side, then the other. Grab them by the shoulders, shake them and go, wake up, wake up. Quick, go. Okay, quick, come back. Awesome, awesome. And by the way, joy buddies, keep doing this all day. Will you keep reinforcing these messages? Maybe they can leave them up here. And you talk about these things because today is a day you can work on yourselves and on your life the whole day. You have taken time out of your lives to do this. Take advantage of it. Instead of walking off into small groups and going, oh, yeah, what about the weather? Yeah, what happened to you last week? Stop. Talk about something that will really get embedded in you, a new belief that you are lovable, you are worth loving, you are good enough, you are safe. 99.999% of the time, we're safe. You're walking down a dark alleyway with somebody drawing a knife out of a sheath, and you're never, never, never separate. In quantum physics, we know, we can clinically prove we're never separate. Your 6-foot heart field interacts with everyone else. So everybody go like this, last thing. I'm going to be just a little bit late, Thomas. Now put them over your eyes. These are, keep them on. These are your gratitude glasses. And gratitude is the master reframer. It is the thing that transforms everything in your life, should you choose to use it. So on the count of three, you're going to turn to your joy buddy, one side, then the other, and say, I am so grateful for you, thank you. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. I am so grateful for you, thank you. I am so grateful for you, thank you. And guys, now, again, I would normally take a little bit more time to go through this, but we really don't have much time. So get yourselves a set of these. Now, dollar store, you can't get the heart ones, they're on my website, but get any kind of glasses like this. These can be your gratitude glasses. And when you're at work, put them on the table if you have a staff meeting with other humans, if you're lucky enough. Otherwise, just begin a Zoom meeting with these on. And of course, what do most people do? For what? Oh, no, I couldn't do that. I'd look stupid. Are you kidding? If you start a staff meeting with everyone answering the question, what's the thing you're most grateful for since we last met? What do you think you do to the quantum field of the group? Raise it up. It lifts the energy, it lifts the frequency, it stops the energy suckers, because the energy suckers get so sick of this, they won't come. Seriously. And if you're at a table with humans, if somebody's grumbling, if they're being an energy sucker in the corner, all you've got to do is slide these across the table. And you say, would you like to tell us why you're grateful you've got a job? Particularly during COVID. And the other way to do this is with children, because how do we teach children to be grateful? We look at them and say thank you to your brother. Say thank you. I said say thank you to your brother. That does not teach children gratitude. But if you have a set of these at the dinner table every night, even if you don't, just use these. They're free. They're with you everywhere. If something's upsetting you, observe what it is that you're saying to yourself and then choose consciously gratitude. So around the dinner table, you say, what's the thing you're most grateful for that happened today? And you will start to teach children about gratitude. So quick joy buddies, on the count of 3, turn to the person, the joy buddy, either side of you, tell them one thing that you are going to do differently from today forwards. And then as soon as you've done that, either side, I want you to leap out of your chair because we're going to do the last thing. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. What's one thing you're going to do differently? Nice. Okay, quick, leap up, leap up. Now, two things. 1 second, we're going to be doing the song. But the first thing, I want you to turn to your joy buddy on the count of 3 again. And you know how we said the most important thing in life is what? How you feel about yourself. And the single most significant thing that people want in life is what? Recognition and acknowledgement, which is like love. So on the count of 3, you know when little kids do something that they're happy with and they go, ta-da! Yes? What do grown-ups do? When they go, ta-da, what do we do? Yay! We give them acknowledgement. How quickly does a toddler learn ta-das are the best thing since sliced bread? So on the count of 3, you're going to look at your joy buddy, one side then the other, and you're going to do this. It's a little complicated, but you can get it. One of you is going to say, I think you deserve a ta-da. The other is going to say, ta-da! And you will look at them and go, yes! And then you'll swap. I think you deserve a ta-da. Ta-da! And then you'll go, excellent. You got that? 1, 2, 3, go. I think you deserve a ta-da. Ta-da! Yes! I think you deserve a ta-da. Ta-da! Excellent. You haven't finished it. 3 minutes of the song. Now stay standing, stay standing. And by the way, I just would like to acknowledge Thomas and his team. They have done an amazing job. This has been an extraordinarily hard thing to pull together with such generosity and graciousness. So you may want to go up to every single person in this team at some stage during the day and go, I think you deserve a ta-da. I am deeply grateful for you and you are amazing.